Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Messages of Hope. I'm so glad that you are here this morning. I hope everything is working out well for you as we progress closer and closer to springtime. Hallelujah. Oh my goodness, so excited to be done with winter. This was my first winter in Middling Falls, and it's been a rough one. And I hear that it's actually, according to the locals, it was milder than they expected. They expected much bitter, colder temperatures. So we'll see what happens next year. In the meantime, though, we're making it. We're making it. Do you have your beverage with you today? Your water, your tea, your coffee, something to sip on as we sit here and chat and get this little episode started. As you pop on, please say good morning to me so I can say good morning back. I'm going to be moving some light around here for a bit. Oh, it was hot. Also, I just want to confess that I do believe I'm coming down with a cold. So I'm going to sound a little nasally, hoarse. I'll be doing a lot of sipping on water and tea and getting through this because right after this event, I'm going to be presenting the power of prayer beads. And I'm super excited about that. I want to show you guys how you can make your own prayer beads, whether it be a mala bracelet, something super simple, or a new design from my own Magical Intentions line of jewelry. It's the the 5 bead knot. So we'll talk more about that and all that good stuff. In the meantime, though, let's say good morning to you guys. Hi, Alicia. Thank you for joining us this morning. Good morning, Miss Carrie and Chrissy. Hello, you lovely ladies. If somebody could please share this to the Your Essential Spirit Quest page, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you have other groups and pages and friends you'd like to join us today, I would love for them to be all here as well. And I want to just let you know that we are doing something a little bit different. We don't often turn to this deck, especially for messages of hope. But this morning, we are going to pull cards that address both your angels and your gemstones. And this is really timely for the Imbolc season. And I just want to touch on that for just a minute, that this is the midpoint between winter solstice and spring equinox. So we want to call in that light. The sun will be returning soon, so let's call in that sun energy and use it to initiate some new beginnings. So if you made a New Year's resolution and you're not living up to that resolution, just flip the switch. Instead of resolving to make the change, say you've already made it and then initiate the change. Initiate all the energy that it's going to take to support you during the change, but you've made it. Have it already set in your mind and your heart that you've made it and you're ready to go. That's what Imbolc is all about. It's also called candle mouse. So you might hear that term as well. So anywho, that's what that's all about. And we'll just go ahead and get started by opening this time with a prayer. So just settle back and take a deep breath and ground yourself and prepare yourself for an hour with messages of hope. Holy Mother, we thank you for this day and this opportunity to meet with one another from all around the United States, and perhaps one of these days even from all around the world, where we get to share our thoughts and feelings and our own messages of hope for our global community as we expand our awareness and grow. We ask that we open our minds and our hearts to all messages that resonate true to us, and those that do not resonate true to us, let us just dismiss them without another thought and move on with our lives. Blessed be. All right, you guys, so it's confession time. Listen, one of the things, I've taken lots and lots and lots of communication classes, and one of the things that they stressed was to know your audience. Talk at the level that your audience will understand you. Use the same language that they would understand. And so when it came to talking to you about the new moon, I did just that. Now you can go to any calendar and they will show you the new moon, and it will be a black circle, a black dot, and that's the new moon, okay? And for me, in all honesty, and what I need to confess to you is that I don't believe that that's the new moon. That to me is the dark moon. There's nothing new about it, sort of. I'll get there in a minute, but it's not really the new moon. In the wise woman tradition and in a lot of pagan traditions, the new moon is visible on the second or third day after the dark moon, okay? Or some traditions call it the no moon, where the moon is not visible. It's still present, it never goes away, but it's just not visible because the sun is not beaming light on it. It's not reflecting the sun's light, okay? Our earth is in its shadow, and so it cannot get that sunlight to reflect back. So anywho, so that's why we call it the dark moon, and the new moon, as I was saying, it begins 2 to 3 days after that when you can see the first crescent, okay? So good morning, Kelly Grimm. Thank you so much for being here. So I want you to just forgive me for not being upfront and honest with you from the very beginning and misleading you on how to work with this energy. But I wanted to stick with the calendar, what the calendar was saying, but it's not true. Okay, and I'm going to explain why it's not true this morning, because this morning we are talking about the dark moon. All right. But before we go there, let's do our daily goddess. This is from the book, 365 Days of Goddess. And today we are talking about Candlemas, and it's, Prosperina. Prosperina. I'm not familiar with that goddess, so we'll look at it, okay? Prosperina. The themes for Prosperina is divination, protection, and purification. Her symbols are candles, corn, and pomegranate. In ancient Roman mythology, Ceres, an earth and vegetation goddess, sought out her daughter Prosperina in the underworld where Hades kept her captive. This relates also to the goddess Demeter and her daughter Persephone. Okay, so it's the same goddesses, different pantheon. Let's see, during this time, nothing grew on the earth. As she searched, Ceres illuminated the darkness of Hades' realm with candles. Symbolically, this indicates a time of soul searching, of finding any dark corners in our spiritual lives and filling them with purity and light. In works of art, Prosperina is is dictated as a young, lovely corn goddess. In Greek stories, she's known as Persephone, as I was saying. Yes. So in order to bring Prosperina into your world today, in magical traditions, people light candles on the Yule log. So that Yule log that you fired up on winter solstice, remember I was telling you this is the midway point between winter solstice and summer solstice. So yes, this is the time to pull out that old ashy Yule log and continue those blessings. So people would light candles in the Yule log, giving strength to the sun and chasing away some of the figurative dark clouds that winter left behind. If candles aren't prudent, turn on every light in your house for a few minutes for a similar effect. Do not burn your Yule log, okay? However, you keep it intact because it protects your home throughout the rest of the year. Another traditional activity for Candlemas is weather divination, which we commonly recognize on this day as Groundhog Day, okay? So get up and look out the window. Poor weather portends a beautiful spring and a mild, enjoyable summer. Snow today foretells 12 more snowfalls before April 22nd. God, please, no more snow. So anyway, that is Prosperina. She is our goddess for today. There's my little bookmark for her. And so there you have it then. So that's how Candlemas comes into being. It's all about candles, and candles are always about, they are symbolic for illumination of ideas, the darkness of our soul. They're also a symbol of hope. So that you'll see candles a lot when it comes to dealing with the aspect of hope. So anywho, it's tea sipping time, just a moment. And now we're going to segue right into the dark moon situation. So again, I'm really sorry for misleading you guys. And in the future, I will not be calling the new moon the new moon. It'll be the dark moon. And when it's the new moon, we'll do our new moon intentions so that you can also start kind of like living your life in that cycle. Now, there are 4 lunar stages. These 4 stages relate to seasons of the year, seasons of our life, okay? How we motivate through our life. So we're going to talk about all of them. And starting with the dark moon, I do want to just let you know that its position in the season, rather, is winter. It is, the direction is north. It is all about going within. It's about resting. It's about that internal journey. And the reason being is this, and I'll cycle back around this after we've done all 4 moon phases, okay? But the dark moon is the pause between the exhalation that you do in the 4th quarter and the inhalation that you do in the 1st quarter. It's the pause. There's no activity here. There's no magic to be done. In fact, I would warn you, do not attempt to do magic during this time. It will rebound on you or otherwise have some other kind of negative effect that you don't really intend, okay? Because there's no power. There's no power to empower your intention. So because there's no, and the reason why you can see this is just look at the moon as a battery, all right? Just as a battery. When it's dark, there's no energy, all right? And then as it progresses through its phases, it gets bigger and bigger and brighter until it's the full moon when it's fully charged and can fire off all of your spell work and all of your intentions, whether they be banishing or attracting, it doesn't matter. I should do a class on spell work. Anywho, that is how the moon, the power of the moon works. When it's a dark moon, there's no energy. Don't work with it. So if you're not working with the moon, what is it good for during this phase? Well, y'all, it's good for going within. And it's something that we're so uncomfortable with. Oh my gosh. I used to be that way. I used to not want to go in, look at my shit, excuse my language, look at all the stuff, dredge up the pain that still hasn't been resolved, do all the necessary dredging so that it can be brought out into the light as the moon gets fuller and fuller, and I can work with it and do something with all of these feelings and wants and desires, because it's not all bad. Okay, the dark moon has gotten a very bad rap from Hollywood, basically. All right. Back in the day when we lived in rhythm with the moon phases and nature and all that good stuff, we didn't see anything wrong with it. It was a blessing because all the stars would be brighter and we could see the Milky Way clearer and all that kind of good stuff. But over time, people have attached this connotation of evil to the dark moon, and that's not true. It's where all the growth happens. It's where it's the beginning. It's both the end and the beginning, okay? You cannot manifest amazing blessings in your life if you do not do the work to prepare yourself to receive them or to even create them to be manifested. There is clarity to be gained when you go deep within, and there is a cleaning up that you can do as well. All right. This is a time back in the day when I was transitioning out of my very unhealthy, self-destructive self into a more light and life-affirming being. I would, during the dark of the moon, take a bath and just sit in there and cry. And just cry it out into the bath. And then splash, all of that indigo water around me. I'll give you a recipe for indigo water one day. And just clear it away. Just clear it all away. And then I know in a couple of days when that first crescent shines, I can start getting ready for that full moon to set my spell off. So anywho, that's the dark moon. Let's look at at my notes to make sure I just touched on everything. Hang on. So the question is, how can you know when you've become lighter with a capital L if you don't acknowledge your shadow self? And when I say your shadow self, I mean those hidden bits of you that you don't want to acknowledge that are a part of you, that you may be ashamed of, that you may want to change, but you don't know how. All of that. How do you know that you have transitioned away from all of that and grown out of it, expanded out of it into light if you haven't looked at that first? All right? That's what you need to be brave about. You need to acknowledge, listen, if I want to step into a different way of being, I'm going to have to look at those pieces of myself that I don't really like. All right? And then you're going to have to love them. You're going to have to love them. All right? So when you're going deep within, make sure that you're doing it as you hug yourself. You're hugging yourself and saying, it's okay. It's okay. You can do this. And don't be afraid to look at it, okay? Let's see. And again, I want to just point out that this isn't about duality. This isn't about good and bad and black and white and up and down and all that. It's not about that, because it, just like it takes both your ego and your spirit self to make a complete human being, it takes acknowledging your shadow bits and your lighter bits to make a complete human being, okay? It's nothing to be ashamed of. Only change what you're willing to change or ready to change. Otherwise, accept it and love it without shame or blame, okay? So, again, just to recap, the new moon is the space to dream, get clarity, set intentions, and plan. You've got about a 3-day window to do that, all right? Now, on that note, I will just say that in any moon phase, the 3 days prior to and the 3 days after that moon phase, you still are in that same energy field, okay? So if you have things, if you want to start your dream time before the new moon, that's okay. You got about 3 days before, the dark moon. See, already slipping back into bad habits. You have 3 days before the dark moon, and then the dark moon, and then 3 days after. All right. Now you might think, well, Jesus, I don't want to be looking at my stuff for a whole 6 days. You don't have to, but just know that you won't be doing any magic, and that you'll be slowing things down and going deeper within and plotting and planning your next moves for your intention. Okay. So when the new moon comes up, you can set it off. Oh, honey. I'm reading you, Chrissy. Yes, people can trigger that. And I want to say again, Chrissy, I don't know the specifics of your story, but I just want to caution us that we don't negate our very valid frustration, anger, sadness, those emotions. Those are not necessarily our shadow self, okay? I want to be clear about that. When I talk about shadow self, I'm talking about those situations or those aspects of ourselves that we are ashamed of or keep hidden or don't want to acknowledge, like it used to be, that I would not acknowledge the fact that I'm very stubborn. All right. So, yeah, I mean, like, I used to be very stubborn. My grandmother called it hard headedness. I was a hard headed child. Okay. And in some ways, it kind of served me, and I'll talk about that one day. But in other ways, it kind of separated me and made me miss some opportunities. Okay. And so I had to look at that. I had to look at that shadow self part of me and say, is this really how I want to be? Do I want to be this hard headed, this set in my ways, dig in, don't give an inch type of a person? I decided I did not. And so I had to learn how to temper that and work with it. And now I call it tenaciousness. Yeah, different language. But it means that I can still strive forward, but I'm not so stubborn or hard headed that I miss opportunities or create barriers between me and people. So just keep that in mind. That's what shadow self is. It's not necessarily about those lower vibrating emotions that we don't want to feel. It's more about how we are as a person. Okay. Let's talk about some dark moon goddesses, okay? Because there are a bunch of them. I limited myself to three, all right? The three that I'm most familiar with. So the first one that comes to mind is Lilith. Lilith has gotten the worst rap ever, okay? And I'm kind of mad about it because I happen to really love this goddess. She was the first feminist, the first one that said, oh, hell no. When somebody was going to try to dictate to her how she was going to be, she was like, no, I don't think so. And just to let you know, a little Christian um, story around this is that she was the first Eve. You know, Adam was made, then Lilith came, and Lilith wasn't having any of Adam because she was like, no, I'm stronger than you and better than you. And they cast her out of heaven and out of the Garden of Eden and made this more docile version of woman named Eve, who also led Adam astray. Bless her heart. I'm not going to complain about that either because we needed to eat of that tree of knowledge so that we could become godlike. All right, we're going to have conversations around that because it's time that people understood that this isn't just about religious theology or spiritual belief. This is how nature works. We cannot be part of one love, the divine source energy, without acknowledging that we are that. Okay. So, anyways, more on that later. But that is Lilith. She's amazing. And if you ever really want to stand fierce, like for instance, if you're going to a court hearing and you're going to be in a room full of men, okay, who are going to try to tell you how wrong you are, but you want justice for yourself, call on Lilith. You don't have to act like her. Just have her stand beside you and have that patina of her protection around you because she will not let you go through that alone and not come out good on the other end. That is Lilith. Look her up. She's awesome. So another dark moon goddess is Hecate, which is she's a triple goddess, and she is amazing. She is about wisdom, health-related wisdom specifically, not only wisdom, but teaching and knowledge and learning and the weaving of life and all of that. That's Hecate. She stands at the crossroads of life. She will give you all kind of decisions and choices to make, and she can help you make the best one. That's Hecate. There is also Kali, who she is probably one of the most violent of the dark goddesses. She dances. She dances. She has many arms. She dances. She wears a skirt or an apron of heads. Those are the heads of her enemies that she wears and she dances with them. She's a really kind of macabre, but she also has her purpose in life, okay? So I love me some Kali as well. And then others are Medusa. She's a dark goddess. Nyx. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Every pagan pantheon has dark goddesses. So, and it's for a reason. It's because she needs to be acknowledged. All the goddesses. If you ever wondered how come there's so many goddesses in the world, it's because they represent human aspects. Human aspects. Okay. So, yeah, they are us and we are them. Let us not hide them away. Let's see. I just wrote all of them hold the power of life and death and are relevant to the dark moon for that reason, okay? Because there's a pause between life and death. There's a pause, all right? A resting, a coming back to one's self, true self. They are the ending and the beginning. Now, some crystals that you might want to work with for the dark moon is labradorite. That's the first one that comes up. It helps you to sharpen your focus and kind of clarify your intention. And it also helps to potentiate those intentions. All right, so labradorite. Smoky celestial. Celestials are a crystal personality. It kind of looks like they're usually kind of flat. Make my hand flat here. But it looks like they have like a stepping stone or terraced pattern on them. And they're smokies, okay? Smoky celestials help to erase karmic debt, and they help you to access your Akashic records. And why that's important to go, that's an important library to access during the dark moon is because now you're also bringing in your past life stuff, and you're going to be looking at why am I this way? Why do I have this shadow self aspect that I don't fully appreciate and may want to change? Where is that coming from? Okay, could be past life stuff. All right, so it's always good to kind of look at your Akashic records for patterns that you want to break. Let's see. Oh, and the other one that is amazing to work with during the dark moon is a black moonstone. A, it's a beautiful, beautiful stone. And B, the moonstone itself will kind of like hold you emotionally. It would be like if you're really struggling with dark moon energy and looking at your shadow self, if you were wearing black moonstone or meditating with it in your palm or next to your heart, it would feel much like you were being emotionally supported by like your grandmother, right? That your grandmother was like going, oh, honey, it's okay. It's okay. We love you anyway. All right. And that will help you to process and kind of work through any of that hard, sticky stuff. I love black moonstone for that. Do you guys have any questions about anything that I have said this morning about the dark moon? Let's recap. Don't work spell work or any kind of magic during the dark moon. This is a time of rest. If you tend to be a super, super busy person, carve in some rest time during this moon phase. Allow yourself to slow down and to be at peace and to go inward. Journal, nap, dream, do a lot of daydreaming. Work your oracle cards during this time. Get your messages, get some clarity, talk to your energy workers, go get a chakra tune-up, do all that self-care prep stuff so that when the moon starts becoming fuller and fuller, you're able to move along with it and to access that new higher vibrating energy that it's putting out. Does there anybody here that wants to share any of their own dark moon stories or lore? I hope I didn't lose you guys. We're getting ready to pull cards here in a minute, and then we're going to do a little guided meditation about this dark moon. But I wanted to do cards first in case you don't have time to stick around for the meditation. It should only take maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to go kind of quickly through the, the prep stuff about grounding yourself and getting yourself centered and ready to receive the message. And then we'll do a very brief meditation. Thank you, Chrissy. Thank you, honey. Well, then let's go ahead and pull some cards from the Angel and Gemstone Oracle deck. If you want a card, go ahead and jump in there. Oh, Alicia, thank you. Sometimes if you guys don't tell me, I'm like, oh boy, am I goofing up? Am I talking gibberish? Because, I'm starting to get feverish over here. So I appreciate that feedback because I want it to be clear to you. I want you guys to get the best support that you can for your life, for your entire life. And that support comes from nature. Do not separate yourself from nature. Let it support you. And the best way to do that is to live in rhythm with it, in sync with it. Allow yourself to just every month to go through these different moon phases and every year to go through the seasonal phases of your life. Yes. Thank you, Chrissy. I'm glad that you got that because, yes, that's so very true. It's always 2 or 3 days after the dark moon when you can see the first crescent. All right, we got some requests. And Kelly, I see that you are first. And so I'm going to pull a card for Kelly and then Chrissy, Alicia, and Carrie. So this one is for Kelly. Your angel is Angel of Nurturing. You could take a screenshot of that if you want. I'll get my face out of it. And I'll read it to you. Angel of Nurturing. I am cared for, loved, and appreciated. My heart is open. I allow love to fill me up, body, mind, and soul. I willingly nurture myself and others who truly need and want my nurturing. And that's so key here. Do not be offering those gifts to people who don't want it or appreciate it. Your stone to help you with that is chrysoprase. It's like one of my favorite stones. It's all about the heart chakra. Do you have a broken heart? Are you feeling unloved? This doesn't have to be romantic, okay? Could be any relationship that you have a broken heart or feel unloved about. So the card says, take the time to nurture yourself and know that you are loved by the divine. Open your heart and have more compassion for yourself and others. Take a long bath and drink plenty of water to nourish yourself. That's good advice. Now, I have to admit, there was a time in my life when I was transitioning from my crazy self-destructive self back in my 20s that I was at a point where I was absolutely alone because I had to let go of all of these harmful relationships so that I could be open to something better. So I had no friends. And there were a few years, I'm not talking about just a week or so, a few years where I would be telling myself, I get it, I have no friends, but as long as I have the love of Goddess, I have everything. Every day I would tell myself that. As long as I have Goddess's love, I have everything. So, and that was enough for me. And it really opened my heart to accepting new relationships that were healthier for me. I mean, change is sometimes very fast and sometimes it's very slow. You have to be willing to stick with it though. If you know that it's right for you, stick with it. All right, Kelly, that was your card. Chrissy is up next. Angel of loyalty. Take a screenshot if you wish. I attract loyal, thoughtful people and situations into my life. I am loyal to my friends and to myself. I devote time and energy to building and maintaining meaningful relationships with myself and others. I trust myself fully. That's the first loyalty. And for you, your stone is Dalmatian jasper. Are you having issues with loyalty? Are you building relationships with trustworthy and reliable people? Are you having issues with being faithful? Take a look at your own level of fidelity and dependability. Make a pledge to be loyal to yourself and others. Remember, always starts with self. Awesome, Kelly. I'm glad that was helpful. Chrysoprase, get your hands on some, and if you need some, let me know. I'll ship you some. All right, so Alicia is up next. Angel of prosperity. There's your screenshot. I am blessed with abundance. I am successful in all of my business pursuits. My actions come from a loving place and have beneficial results for myself and others. I am fortunate. I appreciate and enjoy my prosperity. Your stone is emerald. Are you embarking on a new venture? Do you wish to increase your financial security? Trust that you have the ability to be successful and prosperous. Activate your inner entrepreneur. Believe in yourself, and you will reach all your goals. All right, that was for you, Alicia. Carrie's up next. You're very welcome, Chrissy. I'm glad. Oopsie, hang on. Almost dropped the card. You're very welcome, Alicia. I'm glad that, I mean, who doesn't like pulling that angel of prosperity, right? Make the most of it. All right, this is for Carrie. I'm so sorry, Carrie. Hang on. This is for Carrie. Angel of divine guidance. There's your screenshot. I am aligned with the divine. I am a spiritual being of divine love and divine light. My spine, bones, tendons, and muscles are healthy, strong, and aligned. I have access to the ancient wisdom stored within me. And that is so true. You do. Your stone is selenite. It's the best for broken bones, for painful back injuries and things. Selenite's the best for that. Do not, caution, do not make a gemstone elixir out of selenite. It has fibers in it. And if you ingest that, it could really damage you. Okay, so no gemstones made from selenite. Selenite, are you striving for a deeper connection with the divine? Quiet your mind. Listen to what your angels and guides want you to know. Hear the ancient wisdom within. Align your spinal column. Care for your bones, muscles, nerves, and your cells, because that's where your ancestors live. That's right. They are in your bones. They are in your very, very body. And their wisdom echoes throughout our entire body, our nervous system. And we do need to be quiet in order to hear them. After a while, though, once you make it a regular habit to chat with them and connect with them, their messages start becoming more frequent and easier to hear and understand. So, just like with any other kind of divination or psychic work, it takes practice, a daily awareness of it and bringing it into your life. You're very welcome, you guys. Oh my gosh, do you hear my voice? It's getting all crazy. Oh, I'm getting flushed. All right. Well, I certainly hope I do make it for prayers of or prayer beat or the power of prayer beads because I don't want to have to reschedule it. So, you guys, that was it for cards. If there's nobody else that is asking for a card this morning, I'm going to move right into this meditation. And is like I said, it's very brief, but it can really align you or help you to understand more about what it's like to be with this dark moon energy. Okay, it's not, or I'm going to say it should not to be dredging up anything painful or any. It's just going to allow you to receive a message. Okay, you're very welcome, Carrie. So I want you to settle back into your seat, and to ground yourself. Looking at everybody who has made a comment here this morning, I know each one of you ladies knows how to ground yourself. So I'm going to ask that you do that and just really settle deeply into that earth energy and surround yourself with protection as well, so that you know that whatever messages come through for you are from a higher source, okay? Because when you turn on your little psychic light bulb, you're attracting all kinds of entities and energies, and you only want to listen to those ones that are coming from a higher source. So that's why you protect yourself from all the lower vibrating things. All the higher vibrating things can come in. Pardon me for just a moment. So sorry, you guys. All right, so if you're ready, grounded, take a deep breath and allow your shoulders to fall away from your ears. And take another deep breath, and as you exhale, allow yourself to sink even further into your groundedness, into your seat, knowing that what you're sitting on holds you completely, supports all of your weight. You don't have to hold your body. You can let your legs relax and fall open. Allow your hips to spread and melt into your seat. Allow your arms to drop into your lap, palms up, fully relaxed. Take another deep breath here. And then just breathe normally. With your inner vision, see yourself standing on the top of a hill, looking north. In the distance, you see a snowy landscape. It's barren, yet you find it comforting because it's so solid, so real, solid, earthy. Snow begins to fall, and the snow that swirls around your ankles doesn't leave you numb. You're only aware of the cold wind. It blows, but it doesn't chill you. However, That wind from the north, it carries your name in every gust. Do you hear it? Do you hear it calling you? It calls you forward, deeper into the cold whiteness of the north. And you go willingly. You climb over rock, you cross frozen streams, you move closer to the voice which continues to call you on the wind. And as you walk, you notice out of the swirling snow comes a figure. It is Gaia, the earth goddess. She smiles at you as she wraps her furs around you. And as you rest there in her arms, you can hear her heart beating, and it sounds an echo into your heart space. And soon your heart beats as one with Gaia. The vibration of it courses through your bones. You feel the vibration in your entire body as it moves through all of your bones. It settles your spirit, calming any worry. Just that constant heartbeat drumming through your body as you're wrapped up in Gaia's furs. You feel stable, safe, and grounded in her grace. Your head tips up so you can look into her eyes. And you're surprised to see your life playing out, not from your perspective, but from hers. And it is beautiful. She shows you the love you brought into the world. She shows you the blessings you may have ignored. She shows you the ancestors who have stood with you through your journeys. She shows you all of this and more. What is God showing you? And then Gaia asks you, what do you desire? Rest here and prepare to receive it. Let me show you how. Spend a moment with Gaia, preparing to receive her blessing. And as you receive her message, know that you will always remember it. It becomes a part of you now, an understanding, an inner wisdom. And when you're ready, thank the spirit of the dark moon. Thank Gaia for her messages. Return to this present moment. Open your eyes. Do you have anything that you would like to share from that meditation, or any comments or questions? This meditation is in my book, The 4 Seasons of You, under the chapter about winter. You can do this guided meditation anytime that you want to go within. You don't have to wait for the dark moon. You don't, okay? But that's the whole aspect of the dark moon, is the whole going within and receiving messages around from your ancestors, or anything that you want to ask Goddess during this time. For instance, when she's got you wrapped up in her furs and your heartbeat is linking with her heartbeat, and you're living and breathing together as one, ask her then, ask Gaia then, this aspect of myself no longer serves me. What can I do to make a positive change here? See what she tells you. And then initiate it on the new moon. When you see that first crescent, light that intention candle for that change and start the process. Let it just unfold. Okay? Create an altar for it. Start making plans. Talk to a therapist, get your healing crystals, make some elixir, whatever you need to do to make that intention come to fruition. Make that positive change. Okay? Oh, thanks, Alicia. I collect pigs. So, yes, I have a couple of pig cups. That's one of my favorites. So if you guys have any questions, this would be the time to ask. If there's anything else that we need to talk about today, let's talk about it. That's what I'm here for. No questions are off the table. None. I'll answer everything, and I'll never, ever judge it as being silly, stupid, a waste of my time. No. If you're asking it, it needs to be answered. Okay, so I'm always here for you for that. And I do want to just remind you, again, because I'm not ever done talking about it, that I will be back here on YouTube on this channel to talk to you about prayer beads, the power of prayer beads. I have 3 of them all lined up to show you how I'm going to complete them. This one I did in Sacred Space about 4 days ago. I'm dedicating it to the Green Terra. So we'll talk more about that at 10 o'clock. I also want to remind you that at 8 o'clock next Sunday morning, we'll be right back here to talk about the maiden moon, all right, and what to do with that energy, and to give you another guided meditation for that. And we might stick with these cards during the whole 4 moon phases series. And I'll play around with that, see what Spirit tells me. But right now, that's kind of what I'm thinking. And what else is coming up? There's, I still have space for the Divine Feminine Shamanic Retreat happening over the summer solstice summer solstice weekend, and I'm so excited about that. And I want to thank the people who have already registered for that event. Yeah, there's going to be some stuff rolling out this week, so stay tuned for all of that good stuff. And we're going to do a brief live as well to talk more about that. And what else is coming up? More things coming up. I'll keep them coming at you on the Your Essential Spirit Quest page so that you can always be, apprised of what's coming up in the future. And yeah, I guess that's it for today, you guys. I'm really excited to see some sunshine out there. And I hope that this is just really a passing little allergy thing and not a real full-blown cold, because I don't like colds. So thank you, Carrie Gardner. I'm wishing you wellness as well, my dear. And thank you to all of you for spending Sunday morning here with me. You know, I just love to see you and talk to you and hear from you. You know, it's not just a hope show. You know, bring your own input and your own comments and suggestions and all that good stuff to the table as well. I love hearing from you. So if there is nothing else, I'm just really kind of killing time to make sure that I am not ignoring anybody and that everybody got a card and that there's nothing else for us to talk about. But I'll be back here at 10 o'clock. I love you guys. Thank you. Get out there and make your day a great one. Bye-bye now.